Hello, good morning. It is Thursday, March 23rd, 2023, and I'm going to be talking about Venus and Uranus in Taurus with the North Node. And I already talked about this yesterday, not yesterday, but last time I made a video, and I was talking about the Fool archetype, and it struck me that the Fool is perhaps not the best, maybe not the best example to use. But you know what I was thinking? My dog just walked in, and I've been thinking that, come on, June, jump up here. What an opportunity we have. June, hi, June. I always think, don't you think that, like, a fool often has a dog with him, right? That is a little dog that's nipping at his heels to make sure that he doesn't jump off the cliff, right? The fool kind of implies the downward tumble. That is the fool does not consider the fall and all this kind of thing, and the dog is there to sort of nip at his heels. And also, perhaps, if the fool is just sitting on his ass and not getting out the door, perhaps the dog is also there to give him a little encouragement to get moving. Isn't that right, June? Yes. Yes, June. Aww. So, Venus and Uranus and Taurus. Of course, June likes Venus and Uranus and Taurus. I'm going to talk about that today. And one of the things that I like about Venus and Uranus and Taurus is that Venus has to do with love and friendship and art and creativity and all those nice things. And so one of the things that I have been doing in my own life I've been building a Eurorack modular synthesizer, and at the same time I've been avoiding my ex-girlfriend. And I was saying, like, I don't want to talk about that too much though, but I was gonna hang out with her the other day, but I decided not to. And I also got a module in the mail, and it came in this hot pink fluorescent package. And there's something, it reminded me that there's something about Venus, because around this time the flowers come out and everything like that, right? And so there's some sort of aesthetic quality that seems to be present in the form of art making and music making and stuff like that, where it's like, even if you're not even not trying to pick up the Venus and Taurus vibes, they just kind of, like the way that June just wanted to make herself part of the video here, right? There's just like the Venus in Uranus and Taurus presence will just break in and join the party. And it's a great time for doing anything that is, like, has to do with aesthetics, whether that's things that are pleasing to the eye, pleasing to the ear. That it's, I mean, I'm not the kind of thing that, like, art always has to necessarily be just about, like, good looks or something like this, right? But that there's something about Venus and Uranus and Taurus that is it is aesthetically pleasing, it is visually pleasing, and it reminds me of the qualities of, like, fruit, sweet things, light colors, bright colors. Maybe with Uranus, there's this kind of electric neon quality that comes in. And the other day, I was walking my dogs, and there was some people who were replacing a power line which had fallen down, and the woman who was, what do you call her, a traffic warden lady or whatever, the traffic lady wanted to come and pet my dogs. And so June loves people, and she doesn't care if they're traffic people or if they're, she likes attention. And so that even little things like that could be like Venus and Uranus and Taurus. People just being friendly, people wanting to pet the dogs joining in the party, the astrology video. And yeah, there's this thing where I I don't want to talk too much about my personal life, but I have a ex girlfriend who has mental health issues, and she's suicidal and stuff like this, and I wanted to sort of be friendly with her because I feel like the world is crap enough place as it is, and that I know that in my own mental health struggles, that one of the things that I have dealt with has been loneliness and having. I would have just really. There's so many times where I felt like it would have been easier if people had just called me up and asked me how I was doing and were friendly and stuff like this. And so I always just feel like if there's anything that like I feel like I have a kind of imperative to be better than other people because the world sucks or something like this. And so there's I think that for me Venus and Uranus Taurus is like I want to help to try to make the world a better place in a kind of idealistic way, right? But at the same time I was thinking about the archetype of like the runaway bride, right? And how the fool is kind of like the fool is like being foolish enough to be up for something, foolish enough to set out on the adventure. But in the context of the runaway bride trope, the foolish adventure is not getting married. The foolish adventure is running away from the marriage. Even especially at a last like the pressure's on and it's like this kind of breakthrough moment like screw this I'm just gonna get on the motorcycle and drive away even in my wedding gown. It's like a trope they use in movies, right? And that is very much a good Venus. I think it's a Venus Uranus metaphor if there ever was one. But the point is though is that as much as I want to help to make the world a better place and to be friendly and supportive, there's something about the Uranus qualities. I want to break free. I don't want to be stuck in a situation I don't want to be in either, right? I want to, yeah, I don't know what I'm. So it's just my personal life. I mean, other people, I don't want to get too bogged down in my personal life, you know. Maybe other people are having the Venus Uranus conjunction play it in a different way. And I don't know. I'm an intuitive person, so I'm just going by my gut feeling. Like if it's not. The point is, like I was also saying with Mars into Cancer, is not to overthink things. And for me, it's more about an intuitive level of what feels right in the moment, and that our intuition can tell us so much more than what our rational thinking mind can, right? And so if it just feels off, it just feels off, and you don't have to do it. But then at the same time, with Venus and Uranus and Taurus happening, that intuition could. I mean, I'm thinking it's a great time for making art, for making music, and I'm, continuing to invest money in synthesizer, electronic music equipment, and just because it's in the air, the innovation, the kind of something new, something different. And something that has that Venusian aesthetic quality that's just nice, that's just pleasant, that people are gonna like. People are gonna be like, "Ooh, that's a nice Venus going there," right? Like my dog's soft fur is very nice upon the touch. No, I'm sorry. But look at June. This is a good Venus and Uranus and Taurus video already, right? Maybe the fool does work with my little fool dog here. They're here to keep me out of trouble, right? Yaw. What a sweetie. I swear I could probably just give up on making astrology videos and make cute dog videos, and it would probably do me a lot better. Like, there's people who are just dog people. That's what I don't understand. I mean, this is maybe an aside, but I don't really. There's all these people who are like, the way I would be interested in astrology or I would be interested in music, there are people just into dogs, which I find is funny. Because, I mean, like, I'm into, like, always, dogs are cool, but, like, what do you do? You just become a dog trainer and, like, teach dog classes or, like, work at the SPCA or something? It's like, it just seems weird to me that that people would focus so much. But obviously, June deserves all the attention in the world, right, June? Yes. Yes. Why? But why? There's a whole industry around dogs. Yes. I don't know. I hope June likes being an exhibitionist. You're going to be on the internet, June. How do you feel about this? Are you okay with being on the internet? Yeah? Is that okay? I've been taking her for a walk every morning, and to go for a walk, to develop healthy habits, to put yourself in a right routine, to build the structures that will support you to a better life, is perhaps another thing we can do with Venus and Uranus and Taurus, because Taurus is all about fixed things, it's all about the habitual, it's all about the pattern, and you might as well establish the patterns which set you free, isn't that right, June? That liberate your potential and bring greater peace and harmony. Yes, it'll be great. It'll be awesome when Venus perfects the conjunction in Taurus with Uranus, June. Oh, yes. I have to admit, okay, before I go, there's one thing, though. About the North Node, we should qualify. Yes, June? Okay. I have to say that when I take my dogs for walks, yes, June, she's excited. She knows she's going, but there's this place that's very picturesque. That it's like, you know, Mount Baker. I don't even. Well, I mean, I have an international audience. There is a mountain on the American side of the border that is very visible from where I live, called Mount Baker. On a clear day, it looks like it's like Mount Fuji or something. It's this massive volcano. It's not an active volcano, but it's a massive mountain, right? And in a clear day, you can see this massive mountain picturesquely situated by a barn where there's some cows and stuff like that. You can see that the cows are going to be right up front, personal, and the mountains in the back. And it's a very beautiful scene, right? And I think that this works for Venus and Uranus and Taurus because of the presence of the cows, but I'm not finished with this picture yet. The thing is that the picture also includes a telephone pole of which there is a memorial for a small child who unfortunately was playing at the side of the road, maybe even admiring the nice view and the cows and all this kind of stuff, while a reckless, drunken woman was drunk driving in the middle of the day and just killed this child in a horrible traffic accident. I'm sorry, I should put a trigger warning or something, but I'm sorry, that's just how it goes. But during this time, I used to work at a photo lab, and I had to print out pictures for this small child's memorial service, and the child was probably no more than like 5 years old or something like this. And it's one of these things that whenever I walk my dogs, I always pass this point where there's a memorial to the child. But it's interesting to me that the memorial is in a position that if it's not like there's this thing about the memento mori, a strange beauty behind death or something like this, but there's something about this thing about the cows, which, I mean, of course, what do we do with cows? We eat them, you know? There's something of some sort of shadow of death with livestock and cows and stuff like this. And in Taurus, there's something about the sacrificial cow with Taurus, that it's all about, like, that's part of the archetype, the metaphor, right? And the other day I was walking my dogs, and it was kind of funny because there was like three, I'm assuming they were mothers, not babysitters or something like that, but three women who were mothers. And it was as if they had multiple children each or something. I don't know whose kids belonged to who, but there's at least like 6 children, 2 mothers, or maybe like 10 people in total, a whole mob of people. And they were all happily giggling and laughing and enjoying the nice weather and looking at the cows and in this scenic country spot. And I just couldn't help but feel a little bit concerned behind what does it mean symbolically, you know? What does it mean? Like, it's one thing that it could just be a neutral scene, but there's some appreciation of the death of the young child being surrounded by maybe 10 children that they were their age and the parents, and all of them being it was pleasant and lovely, but there's something about when I'm talking about the North Nodes, where the North Node stands for an increase, a kind of a ballooning up, and mothers and children and nice soft Venusian. That's a kind of like the bubbling up of the North Node in Taurus. The other side of that, however, is Scorpio, where the South Node is, where the South Node is lost and all this kind of thing. And there's something that just makes me uneasy. Like this is the problem about the North Node and the symbolism of that moment was that by stacking so much, it just feels uneasy. Like something's going to happen. Some like you're in. Not to say that it's like being paranoid for no reason or reading the signs in a malignant way or something like that, because there's nothing really there aside from the past death of the child that's memorialized, which has been there for over a decade now or whatever, right? There's something about just the kind of the thing that is the other side of what you're looking at that is poking itself through, that I think we need to watch for with Venus and Uranus and Taurus when you factor in the South Node. And we're going to be having the final eclipses in Taurus and Scorpio this year. And it's going to be hitting my chart. I'm gearing up for it. My Scorpio placements are going to get hit by the eclipse one last time, June. Yep. And whatever. But I'm buckling in for that one. I actually decided, like, if you notice, I went on hiatus. I took a break. It was part of my reasoning was maybe with the South Node eclipse in Scorpio stuff and me being a Scorpionic individual, it was a good time to just take some time out or something, right? That's part of the reason why I took a break. And the other, I was also recovering from health issues, and I just didn't want to make that a public thing, talking about all my vulnerable things going on with my body and getting old and not being, I may look like a fresh young whippersnapper young guy, but I'm aging and I'm in my 30s now, and my body is not, I have to work to keep healthy, and yeah, I don't know. I just don't want to talk about all that stuff on the internet publicly, right? And I don't know why it makes me emotional, but it's life. That's just how it goes. Yes. Okay. Well, thanks for watching.